Alright, so here goes. So, we'll talk about the pageants and the modeling and stuff. So, I did pageants and some modeling and stuff like that, runway, um, some catalogs, and just some modeling gigs when I started when I was 9, I think. And at some point, um, they acquired um, new identity or new ID for me. I believe I was 12 um, when I got my new ID, when they started putting me into the adult film um, with the new ID. Um, so, yeah, another thing that evil people do um, to young people against their consent. Uh, and like I said, um, I don't know. I'm just trying to tell my story, and I don't know if this is a mistake or what, but to reiterate, my entire life, the fact that my body has not been just mine. So, people buying you, paying for you, is a whole nother situation in itself. And then being told you're not worth anything. And you start to believe it, and then I don't know. Then by the time I was 13, I met my oldest daughter's father. And I convinced my mother to let him move in with us. Now, what woman in her right mind lets a 13-year-old girl move their boyfriend in with them? Well, my mother did. And I'm going to tell you right now that I I liked him. It was the it was the safer option. And I liked him. I thought I was in love. If he was there, I didn't have to go other places. I I didn't have to go do other things. I could just stay home. And because he worked, I didn't have to. She didn't require me to pay bills because he was paying bills. So, like I said, I started working, started paying taxes in 91. So I was 12 when I started paying bills, making money, paying bills. School was my reprieve. I loved it. I could be a normal kid. I could be a normal kid at school. Nobody knew what was going on. I was a little Catholic girl at school. I was a normal little kid at school. Walking back and forth, however far. Then at 14, I got pregnant. And I hid it as long as I could because I kind of figured she wasn't going to be happy about it. And when she found out, my mother found out. Now, at this point, her and my dad had split up. I'm jumping around. I'm sorry. I will make more videos because there's so much to this. But my dad didn't have anything to do with any of that. They fought about that stuff all the time because he did not agree with her decision to let him move in with us. That was one of the major things. But that wasn't their relationship was toxic from the get-go, but they fought about me a lot. But they were not good for each other at all. But that's a whole nother situation. He was good to me. She didn't like it. She thought it was weird. It wasn't weird. He was nice to me. That's all I have to say. He was good to me. I don't know. But when she found out I was pregnant, she tried to force me to have an abortion, which in Pennsylvania at the time, a minor child did not have a choice. Like, the parents made the decision. So I did not have the option of making the decision myself. She could have forced me to have the abortion. So she took me, and it was a whole day process. Like, they took me and they did blood work and they did tests and they did an x-ray, and I was like 22 weeks, I think, some 20 weeks something. I was far, like, she was moving around, and like I was far along, but I had been hiding it because I already knew that this was not going to be okay with her. And so every time, like, there was all this paperwork of, you know, all the risks. Like, I had to sign the paperwork. Now, I didn't have a choice on you know, you don't have the choice on if we can do this or not, but you have to sign this paperwork on if it messes up, you could not ever have children and all the stuff that could happen. But you don't have a choice, right? So they're making me sign these forms, and every time I'd sign this form, my daughter would kick me. And I'm like, I can't do this. I didn't want to do it to begin with. Like I like argued and I was crying the entire time. Like I did not want to do it to begin with. But I didn't have the option, and she's yelling and screaming at me, and like she's like, you can't have it. And I'm like, I don't. Like I didn't want to go, and I didn't have anybody back me up. I didn't have anybody like to fight this fight with her. Me and my mother have never been on great terms anyway. And here I am fighting for this baby that I'm in love with already because it's like finally somebody that will love me and I can love them, and I did not want to get rid of her. She was a gift from God and I was going to keep her. And I didn't know how to get out of the situation. And I'm just bawling my eyes out. And thank God, there was this angel nurse there, and she was like, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to do this. And I'm like, yeah, they're making me do this. And she was like, no, just come here a minute. Because I was snotting and like I couldn't breathe. I was crying so hard. And she took me in the other room, and then she went, I guess, and talked to my mother. I don't know what happened, but I told my mother, I said, if you make me do this, I will never speak to you ever again. I think I even threatened to leave this planet. Like, I didn't want to do it. And they talked about how the process would be. It was like a 2-day process, like start induction and then the next day, like it was horrible. I was like, I'm not doing that to her. That's horrible. Like, no. And God thank God for that nurse or whoever intervened. God must have heard my prayers or whatever, but finally she heard me, and she didn't make me get rid of her. And yeah, maybe I wasn't ready. Maybe I wasn't the best mother for her. Maybe it wasn't the best thing. But I think I made the best decision. My eldest daughter. I turned 15 in December, and I had her in February. And I was so in love with that baby. Oh my God. Now, getting her here was rough. I went to preterm labor. Like, there's a whole bunch of stories. I'll make other little things about her, but I made the right decision. It was so hard. So hard to get her here. Keep her here. And then me and her dad were still together. Until she was a year and a half old. And for some reason, like, it was great. We were doing great. I was still in school. I was in high school. I was a freshman when I got pregnant with her. And I was still in school, going to school, and working a part-time job, like a little part-time job, washing dishes. And I think I also had a job at Marshall's. And then I had a summer internship job at City Hall. Like I was doing, like we were doing good. And then I don't know what happened. He came home one morning and lost his freaking mind and decided to beat the ever loving out of me and broke all kinds of stuff and all like I was almost I don't know what happened. I have no idea. Still to this day, I don't know what triggered it, what, like, if he was under the influence of something, or I don't know. I don't know what happened. And, it still bothers me because I don't know what happened. He was out of jail before I got out of the hospital. And we literally, and this, I don't know how this happened, but we packed up, me and the baby, we packed up and I moved back here to came back to Missouri, to be near my grandmother. And he told me, he said, if I can't have you, I don't want her. So that was that. He's always had our phone number, our address, everything. I don't even think they communicate now, which is sad because he was a really good dad when she was small, but I was terrified after he did that to me. I was terrified he was going to do something to her. I don't know. I don't know what happened. It's really sad. I don't know what happened. But that was that. Man, that was very. But I wouldn't trade her for anything. That was my baby. My tiny Danois. But that's her. We got some more.